The Liberals don't deserve another chance. That's why the NDP will vote to bring down this government and give Canadians a chance to vote for a government who will work for them. You just voted against this government last Monday.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news that Jagmeet Singh and the NDP have finally caved to the pressure of Canadians. They've just announced that they will vote down the Liberal government at their next opportunity. What does this mean and what happens next?
Let's take a look. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the the statement that Jagmeet Singh ended up posting on X earlier today. So, let's just go through this and see what it says, shall we? Fellow Canadians, the Canadian dream is a good job that gets you a home and a fridge full of groceries with enough left over to save for vacations. A country where healthcare is there as soon as you need it. I believe every Canadian deserves that. The Trudeau Liberals said a lot of the right things. Then they let people down again and again. Justin Trudeau failed in the biggest job a prime minister has, to work for people, not the powerful. To focus on Canadians, not themselves. The Liberals don't deserve another chance. That's why the NDP will vote to bring down this government and give Canadians a chance to vote for a government who will work for them. No matter who is leading the party, this government's time is up. We will put forward a clear motion of non-confidence in the next sitting of the House of Commons. I called for Justin Trudeau to resign, and he should. He can't fix healthcare. He can't build homes you can afford. He can't lower your bills. I have always fought for people. I fought like hell to get dental care, free birth control, and diabetes medication. I didn't give up when Justin Trudeau said no, and I won't let Pierre Poilievre take it all away. The next fight is a big one. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives will give CEOs and big businesses anything they want and make callous cuts to pay for it. They will cut healthcare, childcare, housing, and people's pensions. Canadians can come together and build a country where we take better care of each other. A country where we create good jobs, stand up to the threats of Trump's tariffs, and where everyone has a chance to succeed. I will be working hard to build a movement that can win in the next election. Join me in this fight. I apologize for trying not to laugh at some of the things he was saying.
Do you know, the first part of it reads like he's stealing Pierre's talking points.
100%.
And then the next part of it, it's fantasy. Like, I'm going to win in the next election?
Well, and the thing that is just going to be on every Canadian's mind, and I assume all of you have been asking this since I started reading this letter, is you just voted against this government last Monday.
Right. What was that? Less than 2 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden, it's time to bring the government down. And even just a few days ago, was it this week or was it late last week that Jagmeet Singh was saying, oh, well, we want Justin Trudeau to step down. Sounded like he was still willing to support the Liberal Party as long as Trudeau wasn't at the helm.
Yeah.
But now that's changed too. I think he's seen his fortunes and his polling numbers take a real big tumble. And this is all they have left.
Ironically, this has occurred not even 36 hours after we began our petition. Actually, I think it was yesterday that we...
I don't even think it's been 24 hours yet that we've started our petition. And we were almost at 30,000 signatures the last time I checked. It's probably over that now, which is amazing.
Right. So what does this mean? Well, here's the thing, folks. As Tanya said, Jagmeet has been going on some media shows. He was on breakfast television. We were going to be looking at doing a video today on that, actually. And he was on CTV's morning show. where he would not commit to anything. It's exactly as Tanya said. Oh, well, Justin Trudeau has to step down, but, everything
All
else is
options
fine.
are on the table.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
All options are on the table. All options are on the
That's
table.
not an answer.
All options. Everything's on the table. All options are 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 on the table.
I ripped up the agreement. That one too?
We have been very clear. I've ripped up the supply and confidence agreement with Justin Trudeau. We decided to rip up the agreement. I've ripped up the agreement. Because I ripped up the agreement, we have ripped up the agreement. Well, we've ripped up the agreement. We have absolutely ripped up the agreement. We have ripped up this agreement. We've ripped up the agreement with Justin Trudeau.
Now, Abacus released a new poll this week that had the NDP drop, more. I think they were down to 18%. And it's interesting because the NDP had an emergency caucus meeting last night. Now, I wonder if the members of the NDP finally said enough is enough, and that, we're not going down with the ship, Jagmeet, because you keep steering us towards this iceberg. So it's interesting that after that emergency caucus meeting, this statement gets put out today by Jagmeet Singh. Now, what is likely to happen here? Well, here's we go. Now, Justin Trudeau is at his weakest that he's ever been. The NDP finally realized this. There's going to be a cabinet announcement today. But from some of the reports out there, a bunch of the Liberal backbenchers are like, I'm not touching that. I would not touch that. I don't want to be associated with this cabinet, especially now, folks, because what we know now is an early election is coming. So what will most likely happen is Trudeau will enjoy his holiday, and the Liberal MPs now see an election is going to come very, very early. So it's going to be every Liberal MP for themselves. It is self-preservation in their own riding at this point.
Right, and that blue wave is coming. A lot of them are going to be losing their seats.
And they all had the bejesus scared out of them because of the by-election in BC. Why? Because it was a Liberal riding. Was it a Liberal stronghold? No, but it was a Liberal riding. And the Liberals were down at like 13-14% of the vote or something like that, compared to the blue wave that hit that riding at 66. So the Liberals plus the NDP amounted to like something like 26% of the vote against the Conservative 66. So that just blew a hole in all of this. The other thing that this means is I hope this puts to rest all of these false theories out there that the Liberals and the NDP are going to join forces in the next election. This is the NDP coming out and saying the Liberals suck and Justin Trudeau suck. So that is now blown out of the water. And what will most likely happen towards the end of January is Justin Trudeau will prorogue Parliament. He will be forced to step down by his caucus. Like the entire caucus is going to basically say, you're done. Get out.
But again, it has to be his choice because the Liberals do not have a method in which to depose a leader. Well,
but here's his option, right? He can either step down gracefully, or he can step down and have the party burn all around him.
Well, I don't think he cares about that, though, because he's so narcissistic. I think that he thinks he's the only person who can beat Pierre Poilievre.
Possibly, but he also cares about his legacy, so we'll see what happens.
What legacy?
But
your children are your legacy. That's about it.
So if he decides to step down, expect prorogation right before the House returns, and then you're going to have a throne speech probably in April, and then you're going to have an election in June. This is not going to October, folks. We will have a new government by the summer.
Another thing that could happen is that there's no prorogation. Trudeau does not step down. The MPs go back to the House on the 27th of January for the spring session. And now the Liberals know that the NDP intend to vote them down. So they're going to push off all the opposition days until the very end of the session, because now they've got 3 opposition parties who are saying, yes, we're going to vote non-confidence in the government. You don't want to give any of them the chance to put forward a non-confidence motion until the absolute last possible second. It would be so late that maybe the opposition would not get to put forward their motions until after the budget, and the budget is definitely a confidence vote.
Yeah, so any money at all is going to be a confidence vote. But let's take a look and see how CTV reacted to this.
This week, Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, called for the Prime Minister to step aside. He would not go so far, though, as to guarantee he is prepared to bring the government down. It is the NDP's votes on matters of non-confidence that has kept, in the past 4 months, the Liberals in power. In a letter that Jagmeet Singh, I believe, is about to or just posted to social media, he writes that Justin Trudeau failed in the biggest job a prime minister has, to work for people, not the powerful, to focus on Canadians, not themselves. And here's the key paragraph. The Liberals don't deserve another chance, he writes. That's why the NDP will vote to bring this government down and give Canadians a chance to vote for a government who will work for them. No matter who is leading the Liberal Party, this government's time is up. We will put forward a clear motion of non-confidence in the next sitting of the House of Commons. I'm here with Kathleen Monk, Scott Reid, and Corey tonight. Kathleen, I'll start with you. This is the most specific thing Jagmeet Singh has said all year about what he intends to do. How can the government survive should they come back if they don't have the NDP's support?
Yeah, it clearly seems that they're going to have, if Trudeau wants this government to survive, he's going to have to prorogue if this is it. Otherwise, he will face a confidence motion probably by late February, by my calculations of when that confidence motion could be, in fact, tabled. But we do know the NDP had an emergency caucus meeting last night where they discussed options. And obviously, Jagmeet Singh and his leadership came to the clarity that they actually, it doesn't matter whether Prime Minister Trudeau is leader or not, that it's time to take this government down. And so, yeah, this changes the stakes, that we could be in an election much sooner than we anticipated.
Does the Prime Minister today, Corey, have any other choice to ensure the survival of his government other than to prorogue after this?
Yeah, I think prorogation is a likely outcome here. But I think in order to have it make any difference to the outcome for the Liberal Party as a whole, they need to get into a leadership race, which, if you're going to prorogue, you prorogue close to the end of the break. So, probably third week of January. And you'd want to step down as soon as possible to give the party the better part of the month of January as well to get a leadership race in motion. This government has everything except time on its side, and particularly if it wants to have any sort of a more broad-based leadership selection process. So I anticipate that we're going to get clarity on the Prime Minister one way or the other, very soon. And if he's leaving, I think they need the time for the leadership, and they need to prorogue.
So we're just about 25 minutes away from this cabinet shuffle. Still no word, no confirmation that the Prime Minister will speak after it or speak directly to Canadians. There has been a lot of ambiguity, Scott, around the NDP's position. Jagmeet Singh, doing some tough interviews this week where he was really pushed on the fact that he said, if the Prime Minister doesn't resign or, if he doesn't stick around, we maybe are prepared to. This is pretty unequivocal. No matter who is leading the Liberal Party, this government's time is up. He writes, we will put forward a clear motion of non-confidence in the next sitting of the House of Commons. What is the result of that for the government, in your view?
It will fall. The gig is up. This means there will be an election this winter/spring. It's unavoidable because there are supply days, there are opposition days. And that means even if you gerrymandered a little bit with some tricks of procedure in the House of Commons, it means that they're going to have an opportunity to force an election. So as Kathleen and Corey pointed out, you're going to end up with the Prime Minister proroguing. I think it means that he has to step down because the galvanizing reality that there will be an election means that caucus members will now go completely to battle stations and think about self-preservation. And they know that they will lose almost to a person their seats if Justin Trudeau remains leader of the party. In some ways, I wonder if Jagmeet Singh is making this move because he wants to preserve the option of having Justin Trudeau as a leader. He's hoping that maybe he can play his cards into a spot where the Prime Minister digs in and provokes that election. But I think, like Corey, what will happen is the Prime Minister will probably, shuffle his way through Christmas. It means that we're going to get a prorogation sometime in January and some kind of leadership resolution But that phrase, no matter who leads the Liberal Party, means that there will be an election. Even if you prorogue, you can only prorogue for so long. You can't prorogue for 9 months. A couple of months, 3 months. We're going to have an election sometime in the first 6 months of this year. That is now an inevitability.
So I do want to make a correction there. You can prorogue Parliament for 9 months. In our Constitution, Parliament, meaning the House of Commons, needs to meet at least once per year. So you can prorogue for pretty much 364 days. However, practically, you really shouldn't.
Well, and here's the thing. Prorogation will not override the next election date as well.
Correct.
Because that's there as well. And here's the thing, folks. Remember, as soon as you prorogue, all existing bills are erased.
Terminated, yeah.
So what has not passed yet? The electoral reform bill that moves the election date, that has not passed.
Right.
C-63, that has not passed. 293, that has not passed. Like, there's so many bills that are in there that have not passed yet and are dead right now because it's the winter break. The Senate and the House are done until next January. And if Trudeau prorogues, everything's prorogued. Everything. So his options are basically this. He comes back, or, he says, you know what? I'm going to do this, and my caucus be damned, Jagmeet Singh be damned. He actually does what we ask in the petition and dissolves Parliament, and we go to an election. So that's option one. And that's if his ego takes over and if he is absolutely determined to still be leader of the Liberal Party going into the next election. Number two is that they go back to Parliament and they wait until this, confidence vote happens, and then they're voted down. Then they go into the next election, or he prorogues, comes back, and then they get voted down and go to the next election, or he prorogues, he resigns, leadership race, new leaders selected for the Liberal Party, they come back, throne speech, next election. So one way or the other, folks, we are going to an election. I cannot in any scenario see that they're going to prorogue for 9 months. That would absolutely atrocious.
Right. I personally think that Trudeau won't step down at all. I think he's too narcissistic. I think he wants to be the one to beat Pierre Poilievre. I think he is ignoring the reality that Poilievre's got him beat for the last, over a year at this point. So I'm fully expecting that we're going to return to a seized House in January, and then when the next confidence vote comes up, which I don't think is going to be until the latter half of the session, then all three opposition parties will finally vote non-confidence. And if you haven't done so already, please sign our petition E5289. We'll put a link in the description because if this doesn't plan out in Jagmeet's favor, we've got the petition at least. And please remember, it's one signature per email address. And you do have to verify your signature in your email inbox after you've signed.
Either way, folks, this isn't going to October. So we predicted an early election. It just happened a little later than we wanted it to. But ladies and gentlemen, this is now the last mile. We know how this is going to end. We know roughly when it's going to end. And it's time to get to work.